Okay, wish me luck. I'm going to very carefully try to do this video for YouTube, which is so freaking lame now. It's like the best channels are gone off of YouTube, and even the channels that are still have got a little bit of energy left in them, they're so careful now. It's like watching a race car in second gear, and I watch some of these channels, I look at them and go, yeah, you guys are great now, but like it's a matter of time for a lot of these guys before YouTube just says, oh, yeah, we'd rather just get rid of like some of these Comicsgate, Phantom Menace guys, or guys like the Quartering or whatever. It's like, YouTube just gonna kind of one day move on with those guys. And it's like they do it step by step, so there's no mass exodus to Odysee or some other platform, which, God, there really should be. YouTube is so freaking lame now. Anyway, so these two articles by Ben should be trebucheted into the sun, Schlott give Amazon and Facebook a seat at the United Nations. If you don't know what this means, some of you know it, definitely knows what this is all about. This is them taking their mask off with this one world, one e pluribus unum concept. And this article are actually pretty well related. Okay, so the first thing I was thinking video games are so. And then I use the G slur now, and I can't say that on YouTube, so I've got to say lame, unless you want to say the G slur for lighthearted and frivolous. And then I started thinking back to the stuff that we said as kids, and you're probably, well, I can tell by the demographics, you're all about my age. Everyone got roasted. PC just wasn't a thing, and I grew up in very liberal California. It's like, as kids, we still said the most horrendous, awesome things, but to say them now would be like, oh, these little kids should just be marching along in Hugo Boss. It's like, no, we're just little kids, just weren't politically correct. That just wasn't on the table. The political correctness back then was like there was civil behavior around adults, and then there just was like your true self when you weren't around the adults. So yeah, we use racial, sexual, religious epithets as often as possible because they accurately described a situation. It sort of kept degeneracy at bay. It's a concept of small towns versus cities, where cities breed filth and evil because nobody knows each other. There's no social pressure to keep man from his base nature. That's probably the worst thing about cities, is that people are anonymous, so they can engage in whatever kind of Dr. Jekyll and Hyde behavior they want to engage in. So using racial, sexual, religious slurs plays a vital role in maintaining civilization. As weird as it sounds, I'm not just trolling with that. I legitimately think that it keeps people in line. It's a shortcut to a long conversation. You come up with something, you go, oh, is this idea a good idea? And someone will say, no, kids will think it's G-slur. Let's ask these kids. Yes, your idea is for N slur, B slurs because it's F slur, G slur. It saves so much time because those kids in that group, they know what these sounds, these words, they refer to concepts that are known by the group. It's kind of like you're seeing this weird stuff now go on, especially if you're on Twitter, is with this, the trans, I don't know, was that a prefix, an adjective, concept of language, and they're trying to do this like weird Tower of Babylon thing, and it's like, ultimately I don't think you're going to be successful, because like trying to push illogic only goes so far before majority of people, like, you're going to have to push this at the barrel of a gun to get people on board with it. It's like you're going to have to do Russia or Chinese style communism to get people to accept this language that you're trying to push, that dogs are cats and people are bears. It's like someone on Twitter defined a woman as anything that they want to be, which is a self-referential tautology, I guess. It's like saying a spacecraft is anything it identifies as. It's like, well, but a submarine can't fly. So the object, the purpose of the word doesn't refer to a concept that is known. Anyway, but in true Fahrenheit 451, 1984 style, to control people's thinking, you've got to control the language. Bro, it's just a video game. Touch some grass. I live in California. We don't have any water. I don't have grass. I have weeds. But I think people are starting to get the feeling that it's not just a video game or a little censorship here or there. It's this bigger concept of companies becoming more powerful than countries. And two, countries are getting weaker because diversity is turning them into low-trust, multicultural commercial zones where the politicians are simply controlled by multinational corporations. These two things, these two articles, are very tightly tied together. These parasites have been pushing open borders for a long time. it lowers trust, and ultimately it destroys the nation. There's no shortage of examples, and I can give you a great link that I probably couldn't give you on YouTube. For example, Portugal, Brazil, South Africa, at one time were really nice places. The same thing that happened to them is happening to France, UK, Sweden, Germany, all of Western Europe, Canada, United States, and Australia. There are areas where women may not go. France was only France because it had real French people in it. There is no multicultural tribe. There's only multiple tribes in constant conflict. Diversity has always been weakness. And it is way, way too late to save America. The time to save America would have been in about 1970. One time, America was reaching for the stars. Now America is on the path to being a third, in fact, they reach for the stars now, and some kvetching yenta feminist on Twitter gets upset because some guy had a shirt on that offended her sensibilities. And the media blew it up. It's like, that's how you destroy a nation. I know it sounds like people they see such a small thing and they don't understand that, but for the want of a nail, the kingdom was lost. It's these little cascading failures that lead to an avalanche of turning Portugal at one time was a leading nation into what it is now. It's just a complete fucking shithole. Sorry, Portuguese. So now America is on this path to being the third world hellhole with rampant crime and riots. I mean, go take a look at the Chicago crime rate. There's a deletion. There's like 1.5 deletions per day. America was headed to colonize other planets, which now even that word is the wrong thing. It's like, yeah, colonizing an unmanned planet. Yes, how horrific. Now she tears down statues of men who actually accomplished something and raised icons to junkie, thieves, and porn stars. Like, that's your hero when you're raising these like golden calves, even worse than golden calves, because like just scumbags. You're idolizing scumbags. What kind of country does that? A country that's destined to be a third and fourth world very soon. Low IQ people get together on social media using technology that they could never hope to create and plan riots to rob tennis shoes made in China by Chinese sweatshops. The politicians don't do anything. They don't fight for this new multicultural America because they're controlled by these NGOs. And two, what exactly is America anymore? Define woman. The globalists tell you that it's an idea. No, it was a people, mostly English, German, Irish, Polish, and many others, but mostly European people. The identity was shaped by European thinking. The Constitution is just a piece of paper without the people who made it possible. Liberia, Russia, Mexico, etc., they have constitutions. A constitution isn't magic fairy dust unicorn sprinkles. There's no magic soil that will turn us into George Washington or Andrew Jackson. There will be no multicultural, commercial zone, successful country. The globalists have been lying for 80 years. The West's biggest mistake was not simply trebucheting them the heck away from here before they had total control. So this video game got censored. Dumb kids are still going to buy it. The NFL did their silly low IQ thing, and the audience still wants their bread and circuses. The thought of watching anything on TV at all makes me gag now. I don't know why you'd even turn it on. America is way beyond saving. It's already a zombie Weimar commercial zone, and people who haven't been paying attention have no idea what is going on. Why America seems to be falling apart, and it is, because diversity is weakness. It's literally built into the etymology of the word. It always was. And that's not politically correct to say, but why keep lying? Look around at the diverse parts of America or Europe or anywhere. They're insanely dangerous. It's going to be like Russia in the 80s, where the infrastructure will start falling apart. The West, the West of America is already out of water. So they flood the country with high birth rate, low trust people that don't give two shits about environmentalism. That's something only white liberals care about. Maybe Asians too, like liberal Asians and whites are the only people that care about this kind of stuff. That doesn't make sense until you realize that the goal was to destroy America all along. Hey, environmentalists, why are you flooding low birth rate countries with high birth rate people? The funny thing is, the environmental movement has been completely taken over by globalists who by their nature are pro-high birth rate people. It turns out that many groups got taken over by these parasites. Even feminism, which went from being very aware of how evil and disgusting prawn is to being totally on board interracial gangbangs and slut walks. Congratulations, you got invaded with the parasite that is globalism. Even these the atheist groups, which were always cringe right from the start. It's like you're a group that doesn't believe in anything. It's like bunch of just gross people. They went from laughing at like Hindus, Christians, Jews, and Muslims to strictly blonde Christians bad. They took a cringe movement and they made it unwatchable. Now it's pretty much gone. I realized, yeah, I can't put this on the main YouTube channel. Let me try this again.